Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Josh Cline with the Built to Last podcast. Today we have Lee Porter with Meade Pools. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Lee, August time, it's getting to the end of the summer right now. So I imagine you guys are still a little busy, right?
Oh yeah, we stay busy throughout the summer. It's easier early on, but as the leaves start to fall and people go back to school, less they want to deal with their swimming pools.
Yeah, very true. So let's start out, man. How'd you get into this business?
I started when I was very young. My dad started the business in 1979 when I was just like 5 years old. I saw him turn our family van into a work truck.
Oh, wow.
At that point, during the summers, we would get to the point where he'd want me and my sister separated because my mom's answering the telephone and the two of us were fighting in the background. So I ended up tying steel and bottom swimming pools when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
I found I didn't have much of a taste for the construction part at that time. When I turned 16, I started cleaning swimming pools.
Okay.
I would end up doing that after school as an after-school thing to help out. But during the summer, I'd do it as a summer job trying to help them clean swimming pools. Went to college, came back because, Dad's going to offer you a job doing construction. So I worked for him many years on the construction side. We did tile and coping and shooting pools. And at that time, we were just going headstrong. So we just always been building swimming. It's been a family business. My mom's always handled the billing and the office coordination. Dad was always out there. He physically shot the pools with the gunite hose and the concrete, and
wow.
Yeah, he ran everything. He'd send out there with his tape measure, pointing at parts,
Okay.
doing stuff. So he's always been a part of it. But in 2009, I think we was the first year that we decided to step back from doing. We didn't have anything to do at that point. He'd done some renovation work.
That was right after the housing crisis, so there probably weren't a lot of people building pools at that point.
Yeah, we didn't have a single phone call for a new swimming pool for an entire year.
Wow.
He did some renovation work he has some properties that he works on. So he did some renovation work to his house and things like that. But eventually, the only thing we had left was just the cleaning service, and we had contracts on cleaning clients. So we went to just doing that and concentrating on that, and it worked out great for us.
Yeah.
We just went from, I think right now we're sitting at 225 cleaning clients.
Wow. That's a little bit to run around too.
Yeah. And like I said, back then we were in the 100, I think it was 100 or something.
Sure.
So it kept us busy just doing that. We eventually had to kind of open it a little bit because if you do cleaning, you have to be able to repair something or replace a pump or filter or something else over the time.
Yeah.
So.
And I imagine over your years in this business, it's changed a little bit as far as technology and, the different things that you see.
Oh, yeah. Nowadays, we're talking about operating this controller from your phone.
Yeah.
You can turn on your lights and they have some strange color schemes for some of these pools. I still don't understand why they have a green light for your swimming pool. I spend a lot of my time trying to make sure a pool doesn't turn green.
That's valid.
So I'd rather see them blue.
Yeah.
But we spend a lot of time trying to make the systems work. I'm always for the keep it simple, stupid, though. Yeah. I'd rather we reach out there and flip a switch, but nowadays you can't do that as often.
Yeah, so it's funny. So my first house I ever bought had a pool. I moved to Tampa when I was like 23. I think I was 23, and bought a house like immediately. Moved to Tampa, bought a house, had a pool. I was living the dream as a 23-year-old, right? Had my own house, my own pool. Man, I sucked at taking care of that pool. That pool was green more than it was blue until I hired somebody. But it's funny because when you buy a house with a pool, you don't know anything about it, right? You just know, hey, I know I need to put some chemicals in here, and I got these little test strips and all that stuff. You want to try to figure it out. I remember I drained that pool because I felt it was too dirty. I didn't know it was too dirty, but I felt it was, so I drained that pool one time and then got my water bill.
Oh, yeah.
After filling it back up for a week, and that was wild. But I used to put on my scuba tank, and I get it to scrub the bottom of the pool to try to get it clean. That's a long time ago, but
yeah. We had a retail store that's when so I worked in the retail store for a couple of years, and I still think you should have like a retail store that has like a tiki bar, and you come on in, tell me your full problems, and we could work on different things that they could do. I spent a lot of time talking to people and coming in with the water samples and said, hey, how do I fix this? And what's going on? So they teach us. I've obviously been through classes a lot. I've had certified pool operator's license twice that I had to take the exam for. Last time I took it against my dad, just to see, we did the same class, and I was curious to see how close we ended up on score, but we ended up tying the exact same score. So,
wow.
So, we've been a lot of time underneath swimming pools and doing things and trying to get them running. You learn tricks, you learn things over time, keeping it clear. Yeah, it's a full-time job. I mean, a lot of people don't know that when they get a pool. They want to enjoy it. Hey, I got a pool. Then they've got to spend the time dealing with a pool.
Yeah.
And I've always said that if it's a pool is kind of like having a pet. If you don't mistreat it or don't do anything with it for like a week or two, it's going to come back and bite you because you're going to have some reason it doesn't know anything that you've been doing and you haven't been keeping up with it.
Yeah, and it's so the pool certifications, I hadn't heard much about that. So a lot of what I talked about with the guests on here is, what credentials you have to have for your industry, right? Because this platform is all about consumer education, right? We want to educate consumers so that they make informed decisions when it comes to home projects or even, other things in life, right? So walk me through that pool certificate, like certified pool, what was it called?
There's a certified pool operator's license.
Okay.
It's kind of like the industry standard, I guess. You do not required here in Nashville.
Okay.
Different municipalities require different license and times. This is the certified pool operator, so I think it's only for like 5 years, which is the reason I've had to take the exam more than a couple of times over the years.
Sure.
So it basically goes through the water chemistry. What do you add that changes water chemistry, how fast, and those kind of things. It also goes through things with the filtration rates, turnover rates, and things most consumers, like I said, don't really want to know. If you did, then you'd be in the business.
Yeah.
So, it has all those kind of things. They'll talk about the different water things, Legionnaire's disease or, cryptobacteria, and it's like, okay. So, they goes through all those kind of lessons on different things, but you can pick up that throughout time. Several of our chemical manufacturers will offer classes throughout the years on everything from the new controllers or new heaters, because there's always something new coming down the pipeline that they're trying to get to. So
sure, yeah, and that's interesting. I never really thought of the certification side of it, and you start mentioning potential diseases and other stuff, and obviously it makes a lot of sense when you say that, right? And then you also mentioned the chemicals. Right, so is there something you have to do for like EPA type stuff with the chemicals you guys work with, or is it not that harsh?
Because you're not dealing with huge quantities, you're not dealing with large quantities, you don't have to deal with as much as you can. If you dealt with like truckloads of materials and keeping them in your storeroom, there was different qualifications for those kind of things. We currently just pick up our chemicals from a local distributor, let them store it, kind of things.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, we used to, like I said, family business. So we bring in a, early buy for the year before and try to hang on to it. I've seen the stockroom in our business be so stacked full you couldn't even wiggle your way through there in the winter. But, comes there, by the time we get to this point in fall and stuff, it's cleared out so we can actually get to stuff again.
Yeah, and it makes your life a little easier, I'm sure. And so walk me through it. You're talking about apps on the phone. I'm all about technology and technology growth and, how it interferes in their, not interferes, but works within.
That's what you said.
Not necessarily what I meant. What works within the trades, right? Because I use a lot of AI right now. We do. We use a lot of technology in our business. And the apps only make sense for the pool business, right? So is it something can you do chemical like drop-ins type thing from your phone, or?
As far as chemicals go, there are some new ones that are out there that have, and I talked to some client that just had it. He'd been trying to handle it himself, and it tests for what it's like you almost have too much information. Like I said, the whole idea for our business was more of, hey, let me take it off your hands so you no longer have to do it. So even these controllers, You can set up a schedule for the unit to come on at a certain time, shut off at a certain time.
Yeah, I used to have one of those dials on my.
The old fashioned with the trips.
Yeah,
with the trips. There are people that still have those. Those still work. I mean, it still does the exact same function.
Mechanics always work. Mechanical always works.
I mean, you have to replace some of them sometimes.
Sure.
But as far as, it's that's the thing. You used to be able to flip a switch, turn on the lights. Like I said, these new programs with the latest ones will have different themes that they'll want to do for like a 4th of July. They'll have a theme for the lighting for that night, or
That's
even
awesome.
a party or something like that. So does it work? And all the lights, they all have to sync up through different apps and make sure that's all working. Some of that works some of the time.
Sure.
It's just like everything. Sometimes you have to reboot the whole system just to get it to clear its errors that it has. So, but we have salt systems, which a lot of them have gone to. So we're making chlorine with salt. So it's still chlorine. You're still treating it. So you still have those things it generates chlorine from the salt. So you still can use chlorine shock just to turn around one in case the system's not working. So some of the old school stuff is still in there.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned, sand or salt systems, whatever, right? So back when I had my pool, I had this big filter, right? And people had saltwater systems, right? And there's so many different types of systems. Has that changed over the last years? Are there no more filters anymore? Is it now just...
Well, the salt system is just simply a cell in the plumbing lines.
Okay.
During that cell, it superchlorinates the water. Basically, it breaks down the salt. It runs the electric across the nodes there and breaks down the salt in the water. And you generate hypochlorous acid and carbon monoxide.
Okay.
And those two things work for, like I said, you can use the old-fashioned scoop and cough kind of stuff because it's still chlorine. So you're still sanitizing the water the same way.
Gotcha.
There were some different sanitizers at times. I think the Aquasil was one of the more popular ones. That's kind of phased out because one of the best things about that one was the fact the water felt soft on the skin. If you have a salt system, you've got a saline solution, the water feels soft on the skin. So some of those have kind of disappeared over the years. That was a lot harder to deal with. But the filtration system you're talking about, I've seen filters out there 30 or 40 years. They're still salt. You're still taking sand and filtering out debris. The pumps, yes, they're new pumps. Instead of being a single speed
It's a motor. It's a motor.
It's now a variable speed motor because California got involved and said, hey, we don't want to have just a single speed and run all the time. You need to kind of be able to adjust the flow rates up and down. And my dad loves it because he loves the fact that he can turn down and get the same filtration at a lower rate and not have to use as much energy to keep the pool clean and clear. So.
Yeah, and technology has been great for a lot of things in the trades, and that's one thing specifically. I think, you need a variable motor. We've talked to our HVAC guy, buddy of mine, Jacob, the other day, and Jacob was saying all the motors in the HVACs are now variable motors. Well, they used to be on or off, right? So But energy efficiency is good. Right? There's nothing wrong with being energy efficient. Technology and growth is good, but, those old systems can cost more to run, I imagine.
Yeah, I know they do. But the biggest thing I run into is if you're replacing a single speed motor with a new variable speed, you're probably looking at double the cost of it at times. And it's how often are you going to run this system to get back that fee? Because anytime you have a motor that goes out, you're still looking for a motor to keep the pool up and running. A lot of the new ones, we found that a lot of the new ones, they want to replace the entire pump instead of just being a motor, especially because now they have all those computer chips and boards and stuff that are tied in with them. So you go from being able to replace a motor for $800, $900 to replacing a pump for $3,000, $4,000. So it can be quite expensive to stay energy efficient.
Yeah. So, and to that point, and just understanding, right? So my wife's been at me. She wants a pool. Like, great. I have a boat. We can go to a big pool. It's called the lake.
That's what my parents always said. You can pick one. You can either get a boat or get a pool.
I truly believe a pool is probably cheaper over time because boats never stop breaking.
That's true.
In looking at a pool, what's our season like? I know we're nearing the end here, right? So it's usually lake season for me. Is it the same for pool season? Kind of like
Seasons for pools. Obviously we have the startup in the spring, and we have a shutdown during the fall. During the winter is probably the lowest point.
Sure.
That's a great time to get on with a new builder to take a look. You should probably start somewhere in the fall, looking at plans and
Well, I'm
what you're going to
talking
do.
more of like usage, right? I'm not
as
I'm
far
not
as
building a
usage.
pool. I have
No, if you're looking at building,
Don't you start that. My wife's going to call it, pop
Yeah.
in here and tell me.
Yeah, if you're going to build a pool, don't choose the middle of the season. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're
correct.
always going to start somewhere after February, and we'll start in April. We're firing up things and trying to get them. They've got all their permits in place at that point, so not the time to be calling anybody to try to get on us.
Sure.
Replacing liner or a
problem.
Yeah, I'm Lee Porter with West Meade Pools. If you're having trouble with your swimming pool or just don't want to have to deal with it, we'd be happy to help you out. Or if you have problems with your swimming pool, we're happy to talk to you and offer any services we can to get your pool turned around so you can go from worrying about your pool to enjoying it. Feel free to call me, 615-356-7086, or reach out to us, email on the web. We're at westmeadpools.com.
We get to use, so would you say Tennesseans can use, or Middle Tennessee can use their pool from like July to September, or?
It's usually the Labor Day to Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
is that right?
This
Probably
summer.
the other way, Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
So therefore, and we usually start on those dates. You can start a month earlier or two if you've got a heater, and you can stay.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask,
later.
right? So you can extend that with a heater, right? And I'm not talking about like the blanket, but actually something that goes into the system.
Oh yeah, we use gas heaters. California's trying to stop that too, but we do use gas heaters. There's a heat pump, which that would help for like extending a season. Like I said, it's like putting an air conditioning unit on it, and that's the reason I was talking to Jacob, because it is basically an HVAC guy, that it's going to take to do all the stuff they do. We can't touch it because it takes an HVAC license to work on those kind of things.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So-
I didn't realize that. Have they made an air conditioner for pools? I know we don't need it here in Tennessee.
There are a few.
Is
It's
there?
got a heat. It's a heat and chill unit, and there are clients that I have that say, "Nope, too hot. Let me get it, turn it down."
So it's crazy because as silly as this sounds, one of the reasons I left Florida was the heat. And one year I was having a party, and I went out to check the pool on like Thursday or Friday before the party. And I didn't want to get in it because I was uncomfortable, like completely uncomfortable. It was hot. It just wasn't fun. So there was a place there that you could order a 200-pound block of ice.
Right.
And they put cup holders in it for you, and it would just float around your pool.
Yep.
So I ordered one. After that season, I kind of realized I don't want to live in a place where I have to have a 200-pound block of ice floating around my pool in order to use it.
Well, I mean, different people love different things.
Sure.
When I was younger, I was cleaning Whaling Jennings' pool.
Okay.
And he liked to have his pool turned all the way up to the mid 90s. I forget. It was. In fact, the leaves inside the skimmer were just kind of like melting, kind of like folding across your hand. It was. He obviously, I think he was diabetic or something, so he needed warm water, and that was one of those things we did. We tried to keep the pool clean and clear because when you got lots of heat, you're going to have lots of chlorine usage.
That's right.
So yeah, you've kind of so you have to kind of balance those issues out.
So what are some things that homeowners need to know as far as like from a DIY standpoint that they should be doing? Obviously, I hired somebody eventually because I got tired of dealing with my pool, and it was worth every penny to have this guy come every week. But there's stuff you can do besides that, right?
Yeah, I would recommend, number one, let's go get and be as nice and often to your local pool store. If you've got it, I mean, there's Leslie's, there's several different vendors around town that have these things. You can bring a water sample, talk to them. If you got problems, they're a good source of information. I'd love to say the internet is great too. Obviously, that's a good place for a lot of different opinions.
That's so true. Very true.
You can find, if you find somebody that water chemistry is always something that there are probably 4 or 5 different people that want to debate which one does whatever. As long as you're keeping the pool clean and clear, I think you don't have to worry about the minutia of, hey, my cyanuric acid level is 80 parts per million and not 25 like they recommend. How quickly do I need to adjust this? No, like I said, go to your local pool store. if you get in really good with them, they'll be like, hey, your pool's clear, it's clean, I've tested the water chemistry, it looks good.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Don't worry about it.
Don't overthink it. Don't run down the rabbit hole, chat GPT, and just let it spit things at you for an hour. I do that with so many things. It's funny.
Well, I mean, you can get, like I said, there's so many different ones. You can keep a lower total alkalinity if you keep a higher cyanuric acid and, calcium reading. Your calcium reading can be higher, your total alkalinity. It's a balance. It's called water balance. So you can adjust certain things. And that balance, even inside of because it's a way that it's a formula that has to do, but even that has to do with water temperature. Oh, I can lower my water temp by sticking a 200-pound block of ice in. Suddenly my water's balanced? How does that work out? Yes, it does. It can do that kind of thing.
Gotcha. And that makes complete sense. And if you didn't understand half of what he just said, you're like me, hire him. As far as the chemical composition, I should say, of what you were just explaining, it's a lot. So it really tells you're an expert at, what you do.
I've been doing it a while. Unfortunately, we grow up in the business. Like I said, I've done everything from the bidding on the different things out there, and we still do bids on trying to handle things. I worked in the bottom of the swimming pools, and I've worked on decks and doing all that, and that was a great experience. And if I have a question, I still go to my dad to ask him because he's been in the business even longer than I have.
That's awesome that you still have that ability. So tell me some craziest pool story you got.
Craziest pool story.
Opening, closing, whatever. Craziest pool story you got.
Well, we just had this one this week where we opened the guy's pool. He was a widower. The pool's been down for what he told me at that time 2 years. It hadn't been open. Metro. This is Brentwood was getting on his case on making sure that it's safe and the water, because they'll go after you for mosquito breeding factories in your backyard.
Huh.
So he's got to get it cleaned up. Got to get it. So we went out there. We drained the pool down like you were talking about. This pool hasn't been opened in 2 years. No, it's probably been like 3 or more. It had so much muck and stuff. It had a family of snapping turtles living in the bottom of it.
Holy cow, that's a lot.
So yeah.
Is this a lined pool or like a sprayed gunite type
This
pool?
was a gunite floor. It had a fiberglass wall, but a concrete floor to it. So we were able to drain it down in 1 day's time with throwing as many people as I could at it to take shovels and wheelbarrows to get out all the funk and all the stuff and start filling it back up. And within a couple of weeks, I'm hoping, so far he just happened last week, so I'm hoping within a couple of weeks he's ready for going swimming if it wants to.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Just to think it could get that bad, and I understand it. So I remember
I've got pictures, so you can go through it.
I remember guy I grew up with. His dad had his pool filled in, and it was because his dad kept catching us jumping off the roof into the pool, right? But when you do that, the pool's done, right? When you commit to doing something like that, it's pretty much over with.
I saw some back in the day when I was a kid in Florida where they'd have just filled up full of sand. Here you can't recommend that because the water table in the ground, it holds water,
sure,
but it also repels water. So if you drain it down, you will have a shell that has water underneath it that will try lifting that shell out of the ground.
Yeah, and I've heard that, right? So there's certain parts of the country where if you just drain your pool, it can pop out of the ground.
Like we had the last couple of weeks where we just had solid rain, it can cause the water table be high enough that you can run into problems with it.
That's just crazy.
Yeah,
walk in your backyard and your pool's out of the ground.
My dad has seen it. He showed me pictures of where he can see underneath the shallow end. The shallow end is lifted up so much that you can see underneath the pool itself.
And at that point, you got to demo the thing and start over.
There's not a whole lot of options at that point, and that's major renovation work. And it's not like it's not been done. We had several clients. I know one client we had one time that took and demoed a pool that they had and turned it 90 degrees and put it the other direction.
They wanted it the other way. I mean, hey, if you have the money to do something and you want it your way, that's what people like us are here for.
Oh, yeah.
Right? At the end of the day. We want people to be happy with their homes when they work with us. You want people to be happy with their pools, which, in my mind, you do a lot more fun stuff, right? Because people get to enjoy everything you do. That me patching a drywall hole isn't as fun as being able to go jump in the pool.
Yeah, my dad said we help people with their toy box, making sure that their toys are nice and ready to go when they're ready to use them.
That's very valid. So tell me, when a customer, I mean, obviously besides calling you, right? When a customer's shopping for somebody to service their pool, what's the questions they should ask? What's the things they should know going into it? That type of information.
I would say the easy ones is how often are you going to come?
Okay.
Is it a scheduled day of the week? Is it a scheduled employee? That's the same one. How much is chemicals going to run me? Some people, like our service includes chemicals, so they don't. It's on our benefit. It's our benefit that the pool stays clean, because if it ever loses it, it's going to take us more chemicals to turn it around. So we're on the same side as most of the clients. It's in our best interest to keep the pool as easy as we can for you. So you want to make sure that the same thing is true for any other business that's trying to do it. See what their qualifications are. How long have they been in the industry? That's, because you should be able to tell, hey, they just started last year, and check your better business bureau. Yeah, those kind of things.
So, and then, you mentioned the certification that you've taken a few times. So I'm realizing and understanding it's not required here in Tennessee, right? But still, if somebody's taking the time to do that, it means they're dedicated to making sure they take care of your pool.
Oh yeah, like I said, like my dad was a general contractor, so he had a general contractor license, a gas permit license, and so he could pull permits and those kind of things. But yeah, even my repair technician is a certified pool operator. Okay. So they're not required, but it is very telling that you've gone through, because it's a 2-day class that has a test and everything from it. So it's not something easy to pass. Gotcha.
So tell me what I haven't asked. What the homeowners need to know about their pool.
Like I said, most of the time I just want people to enjoy their swimming pool. If they're having problems or complaints about motors, and I mean, there are times equipment is going to give you issues. If the more equipment you have, the more features you have, the more chances for something not working correctly. And I've seen it where over time those things will just get phased out. But so you still have to keep it up and running. But enjoying the pool, I mean, because it's really hard to spend that kind of money and that kind of commitment and not, like I said, not a boat, and you didn't go to the lake, so you got to do something. So it was, and during the pandemic, there was a lot of people enjoying their swimming pools because it's an easy way to stay home, and the kids don't have to go somewhere else and spend time with anything else. So
and relaxed and get to enjoy it. So, and then there's when I had a pool, I'm not dating myself, but when I had a pool, it was. You didn't now. You have to have a fence, right? Oh, legally, you have to have a fence.
National barrier law.
Okay. When did that go? Do you know when that? I'm just.
National barrier law went, and I think it's the 80s or something. It's always been around.
Maybe I was supposed to.
It's always been around, but it's never like somebody's going to go in your backyard and enforce it.
Gotcha.
The only time that it comes up is like selling a house. You need to know, hey, these things could be a problem for your insurance. So you see pool inspections and those kind of things where they let you know about things like the National Barrier Load. It has to do with you have to have fencing so high and gaps can't be so wide and those kind of things.
And that makes complete sense. And that's another thing to be aware of. If you're seeing somebody get reviews, they're like, "Left my fence undone," right? And you got little kids, you want to make sure that fence is up, right?
Yeah, and you always want to put layers of protection. You want to make sure that, hey, when my son was growing up, my parents obviously had a pool, so we made sure that, hey, he knew how to swim, which is always good. Yeah. We had a gate, the door that we locked several different places, had an alarm that as they opened the doors that, hey, here's somebody going outside. Each layer of protection. I know people, there's a baby lock fence that you can get that goes in the deck that you just around the pool edge, just to make sure that you have an extra layer of protection around your pool. Obviously it was fenced as well because you can't, you don't want access for the neighbor to come with his kid and fall in your pool. No, the more barriers you can put in there, the better off you are, because you don't want to make it so intrusive that you don't get to use your own swimming pool.
Yeah. So, and then let me ask you this: we're getting to that season, right, where you're shutting down pools. You're getting ready to get to that point where people are starting to close down, unless they have a heater and they got a couple extra months. But what's that process look like? Me in Florida, we never shut down our pool, right? It got cold, but we never shut it down.
Nashville is one of those odd markets. We are on the edge of what we can get away with. We can leave it up and running all year round. Okay. We still need to go make sure that, hey, the fountains that I'm not using all the time, those are winterized because they can freeze and bust. Okay. So we need to make it so it's a little different. But there are plenty of people here in Nashville that go, that's it, I'm done. The kids are back in school. Shut it down. And I'm like, it's August. The pool's gonna get that's gonna be nasty come spring. But okay, we'll do it. That would be something like, hopefully they have a safety cover. The ones that, I don't know if you've seen these are the ones that have little anchors in the deck that have the springs that attach to them. Yep. Some of the ads will show like an elephant walking on the cover. And
I've never seen an elephant. Like
they have a baby elephant on this cover on
That's
one of
awesome.
them. So it's a good way to show, hey, this is going to hold up. But so they do that. And so they'll cover it. They'll shut everything down, drain the system, drain the lines, drain everything out, get all the plugs out of it, and shut it all down. And we'll come back in spring and start all over again.
So it really just turns into a pond.
Whatever is in the backyard. And once you get below 60 degrees water temp, you don't have as much growth of other things.
So it's good to wait till it's 60 degrees, right?
If you can wait till not August, but if you wait till like November or, because we do a lot of them is shutting down in November and December right at Thanksgiving is probably, but of course the leaves are going to fall. Sure. So we're going to have October, we're going to be fighting leaves till, through the end of October. So.
But then your opening's quicker and easier, right?
Yeah. I mean, the pool, I've had plenty of them that we've in that late. You start up spring, like in April or something, the water's clear. We just vacuum out whatever we got and we go back to it. Now, a lot of people in Nashville, because the pool is in their backyard, you can see it from their windows during Christmas and all the other stuff where you have all the parties. Let's go ahead and keep it up and running. Let's keep it clean. That's the reason we stay on cleaning service. We'll still clean them all, and our guys will have to deal with the cold temperatures in the water. And
They're not getting in the pool.
Yeah, but they got to get on their hands and on the deck, and so they're dealing with all that throughout the winter. But I mean, at least the pool looks clean and clear, and it's ready for use. If you did decide, hey, I'm going to fire up the heater and let it go during you can do it. I've seen it done where we even had like lake effect snows on the deck because it just would get out of the pool and go fall on the deck right beside it. But you can do whatever you want to do. If you're willing to do it, you can have it done. Like we had a gentleman that used to put a dome over the pool. It was an inflatable thing. Like a plastic dome, and he would use it all winter long.
Hey, I don't see the problem with that. If you can make it look good or make it look halfway decent, or if you don't care how it looks and you get to use your pool all year long. I got a buddy that he takes out his houseboat New Year's Day every year, and behind his houseboat they tube. Oh wow! So it's his tradition, right? They go tubing on the lake on New Year's Day. And the water's freezing. I never go. He's always asking me. I'm like, there's no reason for me to go tubing on New Year's Day. But some people like to be cold.
Yeah. What is the ice plunges and all that other stuff?
Free cold plunge.
Right.
Out back. That's actually a good point. Well, Lee, I really appreciate your time coming by today. Is there any other information or anything else we want to share with the homeowners? No,
like I said, I'm glad you offered the opportunity. Happy to come out here and do all this. This is all unique to me. I've never done one like this, so it's fun. Awesome. Again, Lee with West Meade Pools. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Built to last with Josh Cline.